Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being with us again. And once again, we have another one of our 2020 Villager Award recipients, Kim Prince. Now, if you reside anywhere, particularly here in the LA area, this is not an unfamiliar name to you. That's for sure. It seems we were very happy, number one, uh, to present her with this award, even to do it virtually. We feel that she is definitely one who, and I don't know if I can use the word worthy, but I'm going to use the word worthy. It's even more than that. Because as you know, with the Villager Awards, one of the things that we look for are for people who we feel are not only successful in what they're doing, but they really have made a real difference in the lives of others, and particularly in our communities. They've opened doors, they've been examples for them, and we know that Kim Prince is one of those people. As a matter of background, we actually first met Kim Prince back in 2018 when she had attended the Villager Awards when Gregory Doolan was receiving a Villager Award. And one thing that we noticed about her, in fact, there was a comment about that afterwards, that she acted as if she had just been here all the time. She was just so friendly and just so approachable. And at the time, we didn't know that much yet about hot-grilled chicken. But as you know, we do have a research team that works with us with the Villager Awards. And as soon as a name comes up, that team starts doing its homework. And that's
Right.
exactly what happened. The team started looking. We looked up the Prince family. We looked up everything. They say, who is this person? Who is he? And the more we learned, the more we knew that this was someone that definitely needed to receive one of these awards. And we wanted to introduce her now to you. So let us start now without further ado. And I want to introduce to you Kim Prince. Hello, Kim.
Hi there. How are you, Dr. Gloria?
I am doing fine, and I am absolutely elated that you are here with us today.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to start out. We always like to go way back in the Villager Awards. We like people to tell us about their childhood and, sort of where you grew up. Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I always start with the fact that I'm an identical twin.
Oh,
I have a twin named Kelly Prince Harris, and people get us mixed up all the time. Even even all after all these years, we've been on the planet for a while now, and people still get us mixed up, including family members. But I am a middle child, identical twin. Um, my parents are from Nashville, Tennessee originally, and I'm in the middle of six children. So there's three boys, three girls in our family, and I had a very faith-filled country raising or country rearing experience growing up as a kid. Um, my family, we moved from Nashville to California and back to Nashville area, and then all my life I moved back and forth, and I've I just call myself a country girl, and I say that because I'm used to acres of land and being able to rip and run and put my toes in the grass and climb trees, um, jumping hay bales and cow tipping, all that kind of stuff. That's the little girl that I was. And when I wasn't running around in the fields or sitting at a desk in school, I was at a restaurant in Nashville, Tennessee, Princess Hot Chicken Shack. And so my growing up was comprised of church and home and school and all of those different orders.
yes.
um, my parents are school teachers. My grandmother was a school teacher. I have aunts and uncles that are all school professors or administrators, and some retired now. And even my siblings, including my twin sister, school teacher. So you can kind of give you an idea of, when we were at home and we had free time, our free time was comprised of chores outside or more school related work. Um, Summer breaks weren't just riding bikes or anything like that. Summer breaks was getting the encyclopedia out and doing
Yes.
book. reports from my parents over the summer. So that's how they kept their 6 kids occupied. But as a result of that, I consider myself to be a little closet geek, and I'm quite proud of that. And a lot of people don't expect that of me, but I was a wordsmith. I like to get in the books, and I would climb up onto the bookcase and sit in between the shelves because I was small and petite enough to do so, and just read. National Geographic was something that fascinated me. So I was my childhood was one of observation. And then when it came to church, I'm a preacher's kid too. My
Ah,
mother, my mother was a preacher. And so I was in church a lot. A lot. A lot is an understatement. I say I was born on the pew because church is the other than like the restaurant industry. Church is the other thing that I know really well.
wow. All right. All right. Oh, now that gives us a wonderful picture of you. And that also helps us to understand why we thought you were such a warm and friendly and caring person when we first met you. You know, it's all
Wow.
starting to sort of come together now for sure. And why it felt so natural. You know, well, there was nothing pretentious about you. We mentioned that when we were talking about you later. And I said, well, she's not a pretentious person. She's
Sounds about
obviously,
right.
what we see is what we get, and we really appreciated that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes. Now tell me a little bit about it. Wouldn't be this would not be an interview, I guess, if we didn't talk about sort of your history and the history of Prince's Chicken. Uh,
Mm.
just bring us up to date a little bit on that because it's a long way from Nashville to California.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Well, the story goes my great great uncle Thornton and his brothers were all tall, dark, and handsome men. And they had a lot of women that were attracted to them. Um, there was a mistress that got back at my great great uncle for carousing and being out a little too late for her taste. And she cooked up his favorite meal, which was fried chicken, but she had a little something special on it. She put cayenne pepper all over his chicken to get back at him, but he liked it. And as a result of him enjoying that meal, that vengeful tail burned his tail. And the restaurant opened up around 1936. My great great uncle was, oh, he was probably in his late 30s to early 40s when he started the business with his brothers. And my great grandfather, Boyd Prince, was one of them. And they got the business started, just being farmers. And their parents, my great great grandparents, were, you know, they weren't slaves. They were born just at the end of the Civil War. So emancipation already happened. So they were farmers on the same plantation that they were raised on. So anyway, I digress. I always put that in there. However, the cool thing about my research about the Prince family is my second great grandmother was a head cook on that same plantation in Williamson County, Tennessee. Her sons uh, were twins, which is my great great grandfather Thornton the second and Boyd, not Boyd, I'm sorry, Thornton the second and Austin Prince were twins, and so there's this thing of cooks being in the family, and one of my great great uncles, John Henry Prince, which is Thornton's brother, he had a delicatessen business in Ohio. And then Thornton and his brothers Boyd and Will, they decided to open up using this hot fiery fowl for fried chicken. They used that to open up a business in Nashville. The other thing that we also had was we had a mortuary service that was run by his sister, Maggie Best Prince. And so, like, their other sister, Fanny Prince, she had a hair salon. So there's like lots of entrepreneurship that runs in our bloodline. So we're not just chicken. So
Yeah.
we do other things too. And so the Princess Hot Chicken Shack was originally called the Barbecue Hot Chicken Shack. And we researched that and found like even in the 1940s and the 50s, As it moved from the segregated part of town, lots of white patrons would come to the restaurant, which was in a house at one point. Then they moved to a commercial property. And of course, segregation being what it was back in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s, the white patrons came through the back door
Mm-hmm.
and the black patrons came through the front door. The kitchen was in the center of the building and
Mm-hmm.
they had separate dining rooms. And it's like I've always heard these colorful stories of how they intermingled because it was fried chicken and everybody loved it. And so I'm proud of that being my heritage. And when I decided to leave Nashville in 2013 and come to California, I worked in television entertainment, working for major TV networks prior to that, and for about 22 years actually, up until this October of 2019 was my last day working in my last job working in the television entertainment industry because I had a restaurant to open.
Mm-hmm.
When I left in 2013 from Nashville, it was me and my daughter. My dad was helping me drive across country to bring our little bit of belongings to the LA area. And I was familiar with LA because of working in television. But I was excited that I had this agenda. The agenda was to share the family legacy,
Yes.
to bring authentic Nashville style hot chicken to the West Coast. There were some other companies and brands out there that dabbled in it, some that are still doing something that they want to call Nashville hot chicken. But I'm a prince, and I knew I had the authentic thing to bring to LA.
Right.
That's one reason why I'm so proud of Highville Chicken, and I'm thankful for the blessing of the vision
Yes.
of having a restaurant and a concept to not just not make money because I don't do it for the money. I'm doing it because the generations before me handed it down, and I was given I feel like a mandate from our family tree. It's my turn to run with the baton or run with the torch before I pass it on, and I'm teaching the next generation behind me, which includes my daughter, my nephews, my other siblings who all work with me to make sure that we keep that Prince legacy going forward and we provide authentic Nashville hot chicken to the masses. That's why I'm here for the most part. We want to do good things and be a beacon of light in the community here too. And so when I started as a pop up in 2016, a pop up restaurant in downtown LA, I was under a tent, I had a 10 by 10 tent. And the next Saturday, I had two 10 by 10 tents. And word, I think I just sent like a Facebook message or something like that out. And we got out there and we just started frying chicken and we were selling out within a matter of, it was a 4 hour event. We sold out in less time than that. And the word got around that, we were doing this great product. And so I had to get a commercial space and I went to Chinatown in downtown LA. And that space, every Saturday, we were frying chicken and we have lines wrapped around the corner and long waits. And I wanted to do one important thing besides share a great product. I wanted to cut down on the time that it took
Yes.
to get people their orders. And so that has been like one big feat for me. Um, but I think we're doing really, really well at that. So Hotville Chicken is an official brand, is now world renowned. Like people in other parts of the globe know about Hotville Chicken. I was just impressed just yesterday. I found out that my picture was right up under President Donald Trump and President-elect Joe Biden. My picture was under on the ABC.com webpage for World News Tonight with David Muir. And I went and I clicked on the link and I was like, wow, I can't believe that. I'm actually like the third topic right up under that. And they were talking about small businesses and the struggles that we're dealing with, right around the holidays and all the restrictions on restaurants. And so, you know, I really think that Hotville Chicken has, um, we've got staying power, you know. When I reflect on what my ancestors did, I said that they started the business around 1936. Well, that was in the middle of the Great Depression, right?
Yes.
And just prior to the Second World War. In the middle of the Deep South,
Mm-hmm.
got Jim Crow and all of the segregation and lynchings and all kind of things like that going on. And I thought to myself, like, one, why am I doing this? But I kept having these dreams of unlocking a door and moving tables around and serving customers. And I knew that this was going to be my future. And I just started putting those notes on paper. I would start doing research. I always asked, I go to different restaurants. I wanted to sit near the kitchen. I wanted to sit where I could see the action so I can glean what I could to like catch up and get tips on how restaurants worked. And I just became a student of all things in the restaurant industry. I got food certified, got my kitchen manager's certification. I just took the steps that was necessary to like give me the skills to own a business and not just own it, but operate.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Hotville Chicken in a nutshell. And I like to think that my ancestors are applauding the
Yeah.
fact that we've been resilient. We've been hit with all kind of blow after blow after blow, not just from when we started in 2016 and moving around from one pop-up tent to a building, back into a pop-up tent to another building, and or serving chicken in the parking lot.
Yeah.
We moved to different parts. We moved to so many different parts of town. But I looked at it as auditioning the product and the brand to different markets within the city or within the county to see just how well people respond to it. And I tell you this, we didn't lose anybody. We gained this popular following, and the traction just followed us until I got to this location. And I'm right here at the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Mall, Crenshaw and Martin Luther King Boulevard. And I'm proud to be at this location. But I think that my ancestors would definitely be saying, bravo, keep going, keep going, keep going. You can do this, you can do this. Because they had to struggle through some pretty tough, um, tough odds and wading through some deep water. And if you think about the Great Depression and the Jim Crow South and some of the obstacles they had to overcome in order to keep the business alive. And the great thing is that the business is still alive. It's not just Hotville Chicken. The Princess Hot Chicken in Nashville, Tennessee, is going on 90 years old.
Wow.
There's not that many black-owned businesses that are owned by one single family. Never gotten investors. No, no offense, but we don't have any of the white man's money in our pocket
Mm-hmm.
to get our business off the ground and open. My dad always uses this phrase called we use lint and we rub two nickels together. He says stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
the lint in our pockets and your lint, my lint, put that together, we can make a ball and make a string out of it. We can
Yeah.
sew something with it. And so hearing little phrases like that, I'm like, okay, it just makes me recognize every day that I get up, I'm able to come in to this office and open up our restaurant and service people with the same enthusiasm, the same vigor and fire and passion that my ancestors had to keep the legacy alive because a legacy is not a legacy if it dies with you.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
That's right. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I am so glad that I asked you that question because you have told me more, I think, than we ever even imagined. We
Wow.
knew, that this was generational. That was one of the things that we were really, really interested in. The fact that this is a business that has been around for generations, and it's rare, extremely rare, to hear those kinds of stories, uh, and it's still going strong, and to be
Yeah.
able to hear the story and to see through your eyes a vision that will keep it going because we see that vision for the future that even moves it further away. So I want to just applaud you, number one, just for
Thank
being a part of that lineage, and not only for being a part of that lineage, but for for learning so much about that story and having the story, get passed on down for generations. We talk a lot in the Villager projects about the importance of story and the
Mm,
importance of bringing those stories forward across generations, because there is a strength that comes from that, and we can see that strength in you. We can definitely see that in you, because it's an obvious strength that not everybody has. Not everybody has that strength that's behind them, that they know they're part of something that was obviously bigger than you are, and now you're bigger than whatever it is that's going to be moving forward. I mean, that's we're just really, it's a blessing, and we're just really blessed to be able to hear that story and to hear where you've come from and to hear where you are even right now.